ngazi ube mnandi zonke izinto zibe manzi homie don't worry hold up no mgozi goes up in off dishing out the truth so start tuning in can't tolagale come get skata ole wale social issues dish so easily giving you the latest news so instantly gender we tighter keep the channel locked on Mzansi Insider.
Hey ambitious Texas, hey, Texas. Stando samin pendulum bambai ungange la kolonke lotando standang iktonjeli yoza pumilang ekseni hey yoza pumilang ekseni hey stando samin pendulum bambai ungange la kolonke lotando standang iktonjeli yoza pumilang ekseni yoza pumilang ekseni wasando samin pendulum bambai ungange lotando standang iktonjeli no ekseni yoza pumilang ekseni so please babe say when it listando sam I'm afraid of heights no then you just keep on taking me higher and higher watando lwako so please say when it listando sam I'm afraid of heights no and you just keep on taking me higher and higher watando lwako lungitatelana langibekalana langisusalana langibekalana olufike ngasathembiwe tandumo hey what's lungitatelana langibekalana langisusalana langibekalana olufike ngasathembuti tandumo pendulum bambai ungange lotando standang iktonjeli yoza pumilang ekseni ostando samin pendulum bambai ungange lotando standang iktonjeli no ekseni pumilang ekseni pendulum bambai ungange lotando standang iktonjeli no ekseni yoze pumilang ekseni so tell me tubukuphi sonke lesi sikhathi ngifunana nomuntu ofana nawe kase ngambona njengawe owazi ukuthi yini uye ayokhathaza umoya oh tell me tubukuphi sonke lesi sikhathi ngifunana nomuntu ofana nawe kase ngambona njengawe owazi ukuthi yini uye ngibonga uthando lwakho mina phela ngoba lungithathelana langibekalana langisusalana langibekalana olufike ngasathemba ukuthi ngiyokuthandumo hey lungithathelana langibekalana langisusalana langibekalana.
Oh yeah. What's up, my brother?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good,
Hello,
man.
sir. How are you? Nyapila. Awesome performance. Tell us a little bit about the song.
It's just a typical love song, man. It's just a typical South African love song, you know. It's a song that talks about putting each other on in a relationship, you know what I mean? By putting each other on, what I mean is ukusizana, you know what I mean? Because most of the time you build someone to luguti. Maybe the time on me to at that very moment izinto zakho azikho right in life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you can be that person who can help that person
Push.
you know what I mean?
Support.
And be a better person. So that's why it says ngibonga uthando lakho because lungithathela langibeka. So it's just about appreciating
What a
each other and
beautiful song.
uplifting each other in relationships.
Nice. I love that.
Now, this is apparently set in a 90s, 70s love story video.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that concept.
Oh, that concept, it's what I wanted to get across, wanted to show the youth how things were. You know what I mean? In terms of relationships, like there were a whole lot of things that our parents were facing, but they were always there for each other, you know what I mean? If Baba Kuzo Bosha for 10 years or whatever, Mama Kuzo Mlinda, you know what I mean? And she'll be supportive throughout the whole 10 years, you know what I mean? But today, just a little thing. If you trip and fall, I'm out, you know what I mean?
What can we expect moving on?
Oh, man, a lot, actually, you know, because the video is out. You can check it out on what's this thing, on YouTube. And the album is coming out on the 22nd of July.
Nice.
It's called Isina Mover, so make sure you go get that, and it's just gonna be something else, man. I think Avantabazo Itenga because it just sounds good, man.
I like it.
Well, thank you so much for
More
joining
of
us.
a creator than a performer, you know what I mean? So they're gonna enjoy it. If you have that copy on your hand, your life will never be the same again.
Boom.
Nice, thank you so much. Officially, Sanbona and Nokemakaya, welcome to it. This is Mzansi Insider on a Sunday morning. Konala, go SABC 1 and Mzansi for sure. It's Cats and Ross. I'm rolling with Rory. But before we go too far...
Why didn't you finish my surname? Like you're the only person with a surname. Nonetheless, we're here to give you guys another... I'm hugging you because apparently we're always fighting.
Check the lineup. Check the lineup.
If you're going to live at home because you can't afford to move out, you can't go and buy an expensive car. It doesn't make sense. Priorities.
This situation right here.
I love it.
Would you buy?
The entire look.
At the age of 31, she's the country's youngest hospital CEO.
In your position, you have to lead a lot of people. How do you do that?
But if we get into a boardroom, you then stop being Obaba, you become a mister.
Perspective. What does it mean?
Well, it's our point of view. When are we talking about the importance of participating with voting, especially on a local level?
I think as the youth, we're at a point where people don't vote.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we still want to have so much opinions about voting.
Yeah.
But remember, you can't have an opinion if you don't vote.
So basically, that's your voice, basically.
They're not lying when they say your vote is your voice.
Yeah, hey, vote how killing house. I think it's really important. Also because, like you said, we've seen so many movements where hashtags are doing so well, the fees must fall, all sorts of hashtags. Let's take those hashtags and actually make them count by voting. That's my view.
Let's all make it real live. Well, khona manje siringa ngeperspective NCT. Your vote is your voice. So if you want to share your perspective with us, khona la Mzansi Insider, all you have to do is hit us up on our email address. That's mzansiinsider@bongwe.tv. Khona manje masibone ukuthi simphatheleni in this week's perspective.
My name is Kato Mujale. We're in Dlamini right now. And you know, with the coming elections, I'm going to show you what I need for them to do in order to get my vote. Now, at the current moment, we're having a problem with the drain storms. People are dumping in drain storms right now. And as it drains now, you can see it's flooded. As it drains, the water takes all of the rubbish and it just really just takes it down the road. It just causes a whole lot of litter. So if you want my vote in coming elections, then you're going to need to make sure that you get these things regularly cleaned, or even better yet, to put a fencing so that people are unable to litter. Now, as you see, it's actually like full to the brim, and it's got plastics, it's got leaves, and it's just a mess. And I actually just live right here, so it causes an issue, like I'm directly affected by it. Another problem that we face right now is people who are stealing dustbins right now and selling off parts. Now the problem with that is now it's gotten to a point where people have had to resort to using like refuse bags in order to get rid of their trash. Now if you want my vote, these are the sort of problems that you need to tackle in order to be able to help these boys that are addicted to drugs, that are even coming and stealing from their own community members in order to make money to be able to support that drug lifestyle, you know. So I'm just gonna show you just how we had to like dispose of our trash now because of that situation. right now, we're actually at the grounds that used to be a netball court. Now, if you look around, you can see people are throwing their stuff here, and that's because there's an insufficient amount of dustbins being distributed in the neighborhood. So that's why people are coming here to dump their stuff. They're coming to throw milk boxes, you see everything. And now people are coming here to take boxes to try and make money off them. But it's dangerous for the kids because the kids can't even play here anymore. So now, if you want my vote, you need to make sure that places like these are regularly cleaned and that places like these can be restored back to being parks for kids. And yeah, that's what you gotta do if you want my vote. Thank you.
Very interesting perspective coming through there. Kat, ntho ke ratileng ka yena kore wa tseba o batlang. So meaning mohlanga votang, o tla ba votela a party that will definitely deliver on some of the things that he wants. Yeah, so let's keep voting, yeah?
Absolutely, your vote is your voice. Konamanje, it is time for some retail therapy. Let's head on straight to an ad break. Siyabuya.
He's struggling with convincing girls that
If it means this is not his time to have that woman that he wants, so be it. Abafeli banyana.
Keep the channel locked on Mzansi Insider. You know what it is, Mzansi Insider.
Many guys in their 20s, 30s, how does this now affect Taba Samarato?
So, let's say you're about to propose to someone, and it's a little engaged and a little who keep it, I guess. My sister.
Situations work, yo.
Hey,
people out here.
Well, that's exactly what we're delving deep into today. That awkward moment, or not so awkward moment, when you live with your parents, but you feel you're a grown man. So, and of course, we have our experts in the building. No strangers to our relationship goals. Tata's in the building, looking all African. And our very own Sis Dolly. Sis Dudu.
Hi. I'm so nervous when the both of them are here because I know it's about to get real.
I get excited.
I get excited.
That's shade.
So when is the right time to move out, guys?
I think there is a cutoff age. I think the minute you want to make your own rules and you want to live like a bachelor, I think you should just move out of the house. But you have to take the reality of the situation that we live in and the economic times that we live in. People don't have that luxury to live at home. But I think you have to respect the people that you live with, and you have to understand that some things you can't really do just because you live at home.
Absolutely.
The money is not the same for all of us. Some people can't move out even though they can afford to and they want to, but they have other responsibilities. They're raising their siblings. So, it's
as long as
different
you don't drive
times and different
GTI when you're living at home.
Hey, GTI, that's
that the rule?
No, I mean, if you're going to live at home because you can't afford to move out, you can't go and buy an expensive car. It doesn't make sense. Priorities.
We have a call on the line. Jabu Fere Gunjan Butwam.
Kanjani wena baba?
Ngiyaphila. Ujabu manje mina ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi yini situation yakho usekhona ekhaya.
Situation yami ukuthi ngisaploma ekhaya ngina 27 ngisaploma ekhaya. Ijayive ukuthi financially I can't afford to move out, Ngiyabuza usister ukukhuluma ngokuthi what have you been doing impilo yakho? I mean umsebenzi uyezwe uyahamba, you find ukuthi you're following a certain career and you don't really get to have a break in it. So inkinga yami ukuthi ngiyahlangana nabogela ba-right, umthando umuntu athanda, but because you don't have a place of your own, because you don't have leso space sakho, isuke kube ijayive, and basuke bahambe, they go for someone else who can provide them that place ukuthi I can go visit them for a weekend.
Chabu just made me so sad.
Chabu,
27 or 37?
27.
Okay.
So, sister, okay?
Okay, Jabu. I'd have to say a couple of things that might break your heart. So, Jabu, if you look at a woman, we measure a guy's ability, and that's how we've been conditioned as society. We measure your ability to provide for another person, be our future kids or for me, by the ability to provide for yourself. So unfortunately, women, if they see the fact, and I mean 27 is not necessarily that young, if they see that you're still living at home and you're still struggling to take yourself out of that financial situation, they're going to question what the future with you is going to be like. So it's sad. I know it's unfair because you have women who are living at home and they're the same age as you, but nobody has the same expectation for them. But that's how we actually measure the ability for a man to provide for us in the future.
Look, at the same time, I think Coach LinkedIn.
Yeah.
If the people he's meeting, Babata, somebody who stays out of home, then let them be. Find somebody who understands what your situation is. We all have different life stories.
Yeah.
It's not like he's there because he wants to be there. Situations have led him to be
So,
where he
Tata,
is now.
I meet you, Wanshela, you live at home. What is the situation to understand?
I want Jabu to tell us. Jabu,
Yeah.
Jabu, sasedam.
Yeah, certainly.
So I'll explain a little bit. Yabona mahlangana nomuntu niyenza kanjani le ndaba le? Niyenza kanjani? Let's say nifuna ukubloma ni2 endlini. Niyenzani? Vele niyabloma, i-office leader, i-timer leader, ama-greaser da.
Gogo da.
I got sometimes one ukuthi to shoot for you weekend inyana then sizobloma, but you know kwesinye isikhathi mpana kunamajita azokunceda ngestage, you know, like some of the boys are in the back room and all that, you know. I mean, I'm out to make it possible ukuthi implement yonke, you know, there's movies, there's malls, there's parks, but sometimes you just want that indoor privacy
Sure.
too.
But Jabu, you said there's a back room in the mix. So
Why does he build one?
no, but if there's a back room or there's space to build a back room, you go and chill in the back room. You can't get to chill in the house, you know. There's lanes and we must stay in ours. And if your lane says you stay in your back room, you stay in your back room. We'll want different things at different times, you know.
I think more importantly, ambition is the most important part of it all. So Jabu Mpincham, wena wenzani ukuthi uphume kule situation yakho usitholele indawo
Yeah.
yakho?
Mana nyazama ukuthola ispan, you know. I mean, lately mpana machapela, the cheapest place you can find decent to rent is about 4.5 grand, you know. Uthola ukuthi rent you can afford it, but the capital to get into that place, the deposits and all that, they end up wanting about 12,000 rand at a go, which you can afford.
Yeah.
So you're trying other means. You're trying to improve by furthering your studies. You're trying to improve by constantly trying to change span, you know, so that you can get a better salary.
I'm sorry, but I find it hard and I struggle to understand what your problem is. Now, Jabunonga hambi yoqasha somewhere, a big room, a location. You don't need to pay a deposit of 4.5.
Sure.
To be quite honest,
Sure.
if you really wanted to move out of home, you would be able to move out of home. I understand Uguti, you've got other priorities, but I just think Uguti right now, you are feeling sorry for yourself more than you have a problem. I don't see what your problem is because you can sort it out and get 800 rands a month, and I think you can afford that.
No, look, Jabu, I wouldn't agree with her. I'd say, do you, and don't be ashamed of your situation. If you're still staying at home and you've got a plan and you know where you're going, stick to your plan. Society can make rules, they can have expectations. It doesn't determine who you are.
But Tate, you must look at the reality, the fact that with girls, he's struggling with convincing girls that he's...
If it means this is not his time to have that woman that he wants, so be it. Abafeli banyana.
Abafeli banyana.
10 years from now, they'll still be there. If it means our Jola, then start on. But do you focus on what you need? You said,
actually,
because he did say he's studying and he's trying to get a better job. Focus on you at the time when you're ready.
So he must prioritize.
Wait till you get your money right. When that day comes, you will do everything that you want to do. There's no need to rush it.
I feel you.
Yeah, no,
Jabu Mpincham uyezwa nawe. Mele uplome kancane ngale ndaba zokujoyela Mpethu ngoba kunzima la for yena. Yangithola.
Thank you so much, Jabu. We wish you all the best. Invite us to your wedding and your housewarming one day so we can come and check it out, yeah?
Sister does not come.
My sister will be there. She's my +1.
Don't
Me
mind,
and
she'll be
her
there.
will be there. Thank you so much for calling through, yeah?
Sharp.
Keep the channel locked on Mzansi Insider. You know what it is, Mzansi Insider.
Membali and her bags are in studio. Me habernalisha main plaiki. Yana hai udila hangata ka fashion buying and get specialist when it comes to distribution and getting into the market and being ready for the market and big distributions. Dumelang? Lekai?
Morning.
this situation right here is so cool.
Are you
But
trying
I
to
feel
bow
like if
tie on
I
him?
even like try to do it, it wouldn't work out.
Shaman, do you wanna shed some light? How do you feel about the situation? Because you into buying.
I love it.
Would you buy?
The entire look.
Yes.
Amazing. I mean, she puts me down to shame. Like, who's the stylist here? Who's the buyer? And who's the customer? You know, she looks amazing. I love it. She was asking me earlier, does my bow tie look perfect? I'm like, it's perfect.
Bali uzwele now sis wami uyaslay. That's what's up.
Thank you.
So let's get straight into it. Ngicela usitshele ngamabhegi wakho kahle kahle. Tell us all about your brand.
Where I started. I come from the banking industry, and I got tired of taking instructions, waking up every morning, 8 to 4 job, and you know, you work until you reach a ceiling and there's no excitement. You know, I've always had the passion to design.
Okay.
And one day, I was just walking across the equestrian center. There's an equestrian center in Soweto. I went inside because I wanted to inquire for my daughter to start riding. We were just passionate about horses, okay? And then we went there, then we started horse riding. And at that time, there was a World Horse Welfare Organization. They are from Canada. They were doing a course on saddlery. Then I got interested in leather, and I started doing the saddlery course. And they teach us about leather and how to make use of leather, what is leather. And then that's where the passion grew. After completing the course, then I felt, let me just venture into my own business, because they also encourage you to start your own business, you know. We're supposed to be working with the local horse owners, you know. But there wasn't much at the location that you can do in terms of business that could sustain you. Then I had to venture just a little bit into fashion, and then I said, I'm gonna design my bags, which is, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Where you are based, most of it is Soweto. What's that experience like?
It is a bit of a challenge, because then you need to reach out to people out there, you know, in terms of your target market. And then I started knocking at the offices' doors where I used to work. That's where I started. But currently I was at the UNISA. We have a crafts market in UNISA. That's where we exhibit. And then we get invited to other markets, you know, where we can show our products. Yeah, so basically that's where I am, and then there's just walk-ins, people who are interested in my product.
All right, so Shaman uyazwela nawe siswami, she started her own leather making bags, belts in Soweto. Is the positioning of the brand in the right location?
Positioning, it's a bit tricky. Like she said, you know, when people are trying to get the bags, the best way would be for her to be more central. Otherwise, it could be, I can meet my client where she is. You know, the best way as well to meet your client is social media. So if you have Instagram, it's perfect. You post your pictures there, you post your phone number, your telephone number, I mean your email address. They know exactly how to make contact with you. Use, you know, markets as well. You know, Constitution Hill, which it's right here in Braamfontein. It's a perfect location, especially when it comes to crafts. You know, you get a lot of, especially that one, you get a lot of tourists. You know, they love authentic South African, you know, items. So it's, you know, that'll be a perfectly positioned place for you. But I think, you know, in terms of location, I think it's not really a detriment, but I think if she moves around a bit more in terms of the, you know, the crafts markets, you know, not just be based in Pretoria where UNISA is or Soweto, try and move around, you know, Joburg.
Do you have any questions to talk about for Charmaine that you feel some of these are some of the challenges or
Yeah, in terms of, I have so much stock, as you've said, and I'm not so good with marketing. You know, what I like to do, wake up in the morning, I design, put the product together, and then I just put it there, and that's it. At the end of the month, then you didn't make money, you know, then you start getting frustrated. So access to the real markets, that is my challenge, my big challenge.
Do you have like Instagram, Twitter?
I've used Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get so much of a response. I haven't tried the others. I don't know a lot. Yes.
Do try them, especially Instagram. I know personally it works amazingly. I've had a lot of my clients through Instagram, posting things that I do, where I get the items, be it I'm styling somebody or I bought something for a client, and I get a lot of traction from that.
Absolutely.
And especially if you're not a people's person, if I may call it that. Instagram is that thing for you, it's your marketing tool, and it's free, so to speak, apart from data. So I would say go there, or get somebody, if you have daughters, use them, ask them, especially because they're into, all these, technologies. Ask them to help you market the items, Let them carry the bags, have a photo shoot. And take pictures of the items and post them on Instagram. In terms of making items and having a lot of stock, it's a bit dangerous when you don't have a target market, so to speak. So make as you go. It's a unisex brand as well. It's, he can carry it, she can carry it. It's a bag that could literally be, in stores, but also, look at how you refine your items as well, because quality is very important.
Absolutely.
If somebody wants to buy, your branding needs to be perfect. Make sure it's not written, it's straight lines, just those little touches, because people want to pay for quality.
We need to speak about the affordability of the product, because pricing is really important, right? So Sis Mbali, ngicela usitshele ngama price, and I guess the most simplest form is to tell us with the stuff that's right here. So how much would this go for?
That one will go for 1,002.
1,000?
Yes.
How much would this belt go for?
My belts, they range from 300 rands, the formal belts, and the jean belts I charge 380.
So how do you come up with the prices? How do you...
It's costing, because I understand costing, I did a business course.
Yes.
So they teach us about costing. So it includes labor, it includes your material, your transportation, it's a whole lot of things, yes. Okay. So all that you put into what you do, and then you put a price on it.
All right.
Yeah.
As long as you understand that, because
I do understand
that is perfection.
And it is worth it.
Yeah. So you'll
but
be
it moves from markets to markets. I can't take this and go sell it in somewhere up there north and at the same price.
All right.
Yeah. Prices, they differ.
Yeah.
All right. So we are definitely trying to help you out. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. But let's go through them quickly. So it's pop-up sales, social media, Instagram, photo shoot. You can call me.
I mean, we're ready. I mean, I've been shooting.
Doesn't
this look like I feel like this bag is like disturbing me. Let me just do this. Doesn't this look like a picture already?
Yes. We're going to freeze frame and we'll send you the picture.
Come on.
Thank you.
Look at all these promises that I'm making. Thank you so much. Now, right now, it is time for us to check out another inspirational story, because we're all about inspiring right here on Mzansi Insider. It's I Got Over It after the break.
Turning point was when I was pregnant with Summer. I thought that was going to be my opportunity to leave.
Keep the channel locked on Mzansi Insider. You know what it is, Mzansi Insider.
This must be our realest segment yet. It's I Got Over It, where everyday people power on after hard times in their lives. "9 years old. That's the average age most children are trafficked into drug and sex syndicates, where they are sold for sex as mules or for child labor. Griselda Grootboom was 18 years old when a trip to Johannesburg turned into a nightmare, when she too became a victim of human trafficking. In life, we go through different types of adversity, but what's important is how you get over it. Today, we hang around with Griselda Grootboom, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about her story. Welcome to Mzansi Insider.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure and honor.
Absolutely. Now, first things first, take me through the day of the 10 of events.
Well, I was a girl that grew up in Cape Town, Woodstock. Grew up back and forth in the shelter of Onsplake and on the streets. And we grew very close with one girl that used to come there very much, and she'll smoke and leave. From a very well family, she was okay. But I guess that's where we started the friendship. So when she moved back to Johannesburg, I thought, why not contact her? She, maybe can help me out. And then she said, sure, find yourself through. And I said, okay. Looked forward to see her. Got in Park Station, called her, let her know that I'm here. And then she said, cool, no problem. Waited, and then I met her. I was very excited, but of course, body language did show that she has, you know, new friends, new life.
She's changed.
And all of that happened. And, you know, who am I to beg? Because I'm from the streets, so that's it. And she's reaching out to me. And then we drove all the way to Yeovil and walked into a flat. I was so excited, you know, the spirit of, it's a new city. Walked into the room, it was very empty. And she said, like, you know, we'll sort you out with the rest of the things, but I'm gonna get you food. And that was the last time I saw her.
And then what happens?
Then I passed out because it's been a long journey. As I passed out, in the couple of maybe 2 or 3 hours, some guys came in, and the first thing I felt was this punches and kicks and being ripped. And, you know, I just, in my mind, I was like, okay, is the house getting robbed, or is something happening? And then I was like, okay. You know, and then rage just grew and grew, and the more that happened, I'm getting undressed, I'm getting kicked, I'm getting punched, and everything just took place so fast that by the time they were done, I was tied up and my eyes were covered with duct tape and, you know, being shoved in with some injections of stuff where I just have to be high. And then about a few minutes later, clients started walking in.
So I'm imagining, because your senses are numbed, there's not much that's going through your head, but every time you regain consciousness, there's something that you're thinking. What's going through your mind at that time?
Just anger, just like, just thinking of ways of how I'm going to kill her. Thinking of ways like how stupid I was to trust her.
How long did this continue for?
It could take about 2 weeks because the counting of
that is a long time.
You feel tired every time somebody gets off you.
How did this come to an end?
I was exchanged with a younger girl, and she was extremely young. She cried a lot, and it was in the middle of the night. I was kicked out around maybe, you could say, midnight to 1, dressed foolishly, of course, and very half high. And then when she was brought in, you could just hear how many times she was screaming, how many times, like just the sense of her skin, and that's how I got kicked out. When you're new on the streets, first thing that grabs you is the big pimps, and they start shopping you around, because the only thing I ever wanted at that particular time, from 18 to 19 to 20 to 21, was just drugs. Because if I was offered, I just felt so many things.
So from the moment that you were basically trafficked and left in this house, a lot must have been going through your mind, because straight after that you had to make a plan, and that's how you fell into prostitution.
Yeah.
What space were you in?
Nothing, just I need to get high every half an hour. Like half an hour is just too much. And just making sure you meet better clients to pay more money to have more drugs, and that's it.
How did you pull yourself out of this?
You just know it's possible that the next client could do something very bad wrong to you. So where you sort of worked very hard to give him the best, and that's it, and he'll be happy, and that will be it. And the best would be the worst to a client. To you it would be the worst, to him it would be the best. And they will always remind you, I paid for whatever I want to do to your body, and that if you obey, you good, you survive, you get through it. There's a lot of moments where we went through that, you know, that time of the month, it's none of their business. You have to deal with it. You have to put stuff so they don't even see it, they don't even feel it. And then, you know, turning point was when I was pregnant with Summer, my baby girl, and by then I was like pregnant, and when you're pregnant you still work. I thought that was gonna be my opportunity to leave. And I remember the madam telling me, but that's not the deal I had with the pimp that brought you here, so it's not gonna happen. And that's how I lost Summer. She was 6 months, and the abortion was like live, and then 3 hours later I had to work. And then the 3 hours later of working, they just tell you, like, you know, you need to put stuff there so it can hold the blood and all of that.
Devastated by the loss of her unborn baby, Griselda resisted a client that night and was beaten up and left for dead. She woke up a month later in hospital and was taken in by an NPO Embrace Dignity. She wrote a book that details her journey titled Exit, inspired by the exit signs on the doors of clubs where she was kept.
How do you continue on with life?
It's been great support. The first time I find it fulfilling to be alive and why I'm alive was when I started meeting young girls and saying thank you so much for telling your story. I had a great support by an organization called Embrace Dignity, where they just said, listen, whatever you need to come out of this and whatever you want to do in your life, we are so here. My mentor is Nozizwe Routledge, the founder of it, and she has been amazing. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock calls I give her, and that's it. And it's been a great 3 years where I have a support where when I want to say and talk about what I've been through, and out of the whole crowd, a young child will come to me and say thank you so much.
Lastly, how do you avoid being trafficked? What are the signs that you look out for if you feel like you're in a jeopardizing situation?
Information is very heavy. You need to where somebody would say, oh, I work for this company, I do this, we are a modeling agency, and the minute that person tells you, sends them digital pictures of yourself, it's a no-no. Those are the social media signs that we get. Job-wise, it's also the same thing where you get a job and we don't know what the company is, what are you going to be doing there. A lot of that has been happening.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for shedding light on your story. You literally proved that one can go through the unthinkable, and that makes you a really strong woman, and I hope you keep on shedding light on this situation, saving lives, because that in essence is what you actually do. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you very much for having me.
Wena o na le pale nka ratang ho ijwetsa di insiders tsa rona nka ba khothatsang ho bonolo haholo yetsa re kopana le rona and let us know how you got over it.
I've always known that I want to be in a position where I influence people, influence things on a larger scale.
Let's pray. Father God, life gets rather hard. You know what it is, Mzansi Insider.
We're back. Now, an average age, CEO status, imatamano hobo 45 to about 60 years old. Our next power person, Yenehe Wishapile ka 31. Now, let's find out how she did that.
The personification of focus and excellence is described in today's power person. Dr. Nobwetemba Mtshali Hadebe, who's recently tasked with running the Betha Qowa Hospital in Germiston, Gauteng. At the age of 31, she's the country's youngest hospital CEO and heads a team of 767 staff members. Dr. CEO Nobwetemba Mtshali Hadebe. Welcome to Mzansi Insider.
Thank you.
That dramatic pause.
I have to just say it one more time. Dr. CEO. Yeah? Is that what happens out here?
How did you do that? Actually, speaking about that, at such a young age.
I don't know how it happened necessarily, because it wasn't like, this is a journey that I want, this is where I want to be at a certain age. So it did happen by chance. I think I've said as well that I work hard. When I do anything, I put my heart in it. And so I think people also see that and they're like, okay, we see something in that girl and maybe she should take this responsibility. And I think that's how it happened.
In your position, you have to lead a lot of people. How do you do that?
And I do have to lead quite a lot of older people.
Yeah, like how do you handle that?
Okay, so how I relate to people generally is that I understand that in African culture, there's a respect element that comes with it, but also we're in a work environment. And you need to know that in my working environment, I'm more senior than you are. I don't abuse it, though. I still treat you like, I'll still call them Ubaba, for example. Yeah. But if we get into a boardroom, you then stop being Ubaba, you become a Mr. Yeah. And if you are a mom, I can call you Umama outside. But when we step into the boardroom, you're now Mrs. or Miss, whoever. And because I need to, you need to know that now I've stepped into that role, that I am now your senior, and I'm responsible for, and we have that professional distance.
Yeah. Have you encountered situations where your age was questioned?
Not questioned as such, but I think, you see, I'm not a big person. I'm small and I'm, and I'm young. And I think people look at me and they think, what can she do?
Gorgeous too.
Yes. And they wonder if she can do the work. And I let my work speak for itself. I've been in the health sector for a while, so I know the intricacies.
Yeah.
And another thing is that what I do is that initially, when I came to the hospital, I'll do my walkabouts. So I already know what's happening. So if I ask you something, you need to be honest. And if you're not honest, I'm going to tell you, even politely, that, look, this is not what I found in your area. So please go double check that this is the instance. But I find that people understand, especially when you know what you're doing. Because I think people sort of like, she's young, she doesn't know what she's doing. So when they realize that actually I know what I'm doing, I was a doctor, I worked as a doctor, so I know the things that are possible, the things that are not possible. So people can't take advantage of the fact that I'm just a young person.
Yeah.
I've actually been in different roles.
Yeah.
When did you become so serious about work? Because obviously you had to study for a very long time, and I guess that's when you could envision where you want to be. So when did this all start? Like when you were 6 years old?
Okay, I don't know about being serious, but I've always been like a, what do we call it? I do, actually, yes, I was an A student. I was an A student. I kept a little bit to myself. Only in varsity where I started, because I then got involved in a lot of student politics. So I did a lot of SRC work.
You're like all work and no play. Do you play? Like, what do you do? Just like downtown?
Do you party?
Do you party? Do you have a spot that you go to? Like, what do you do?
I don't party as much as I used to. Well, not when I was younger.
So you used to?
Yeah, of course.
That's a thing of the past.
No, but I still do wind down and I go, to places with my friends, just to relax a little bit.
She said nothing. She has said nothing. So I take it you do not party, you do not rest.
Not hard.
But you go out.
I do go out.
Let's talk about growing up for you. Because we always think it's a special type of person.
No.
That gets to your level.
Yeah.
No, there's actually nothing very special about me. I think I'm a very ordinary person. I grew up in Mpangeni. I was born and bred in KZN. So I came up to Gauteng just to see whether there is real gold.
And lights.
And lights, big city lights. Growing up, like I say, I was a very...
To yourself?
Yes.
Introverted.
Yes. For a very long time, I think I actually just found my speaking voice and loud voice when I got to varsity, because it's a big, bad world.
Yeah.
And you have to, you have to learn how to survive. So that's been my journey. And one of the things, like I talk about student politics because I think it really played a huge role in my life, because from a person who was very introverted to a person that actually, because the public speaking, it came with the responsibilities, because what I liked was to be of service to people, to help people wherever they struggled. I mean, there are people who feel that they owe me their degrees because I helped them in a particular situation, and for me that's fulfilling.
Yeah.
But it also came with the fact that I have to address people. I have to speak. And I wasn't much of a speaker. I'm still not much of a speaker.
Okay.
I do find that even now, I'm thinking, I talk a lot in this job.
Yeah.
But I think that's just been, because one of the things that I learned there was you are a community member before you are a student.
Yeah.
And before you are anything else, you are a member of the community.
Yeah.
And we must never think about it's just you alone. So if somebody has a struggle, it's your struggle too.
Your Dr. CEO,
oh, no.
What then is like the next level?
I don't know.
Honorable Minister?
I don't know.
Because from SRC, it's a natural flow.
The journey has been quite interesting because I've always known that I want to be in a position where I influence people, influence things on a larger scale. And so I wouldn't say minister as such, but maybe something at that level, at a strategic level, at a policy level, because I think there's a lot of things that we need to get right as a country in all the different sectors. My particular sector that I've decided that is my passion is health, but obviously there are other things as well, and I'm keen to explore that as well.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming through, having a bit of fun and inspiring us as well.
Yes.
I'm going to teach you how to dab, but we're going to do that off camera because I know you don't know what that is.
I do know what that is.
Oh, you do? Show me a dab.
I don't know how to do it, but I know what it is.
What is it?
It's that thing that
There we go.
I mean, if Zuma can do it, I'm sure you can do it too.
You know what I'm saying? Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic.
Thank you
so
what
much.
An inspirational one coming through. I'm inspired. How about you?
I have a little bit of a flu that I want you to check.
Okay, we can check.
I don't know what
now?
to say after that. It's tweet, Instagram, Facebook, as well as WhatsApp. And yeah, I had lots of fun today.
I thought you were going to say, hello.
No, I'm not going to do that because you're always on my case about that.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of here, but not until we tell you what our favorite parts of the show were.
Jeez. CEO, absolutely amazing. Dr. CEO was absolutely amazing, inspiring. You know, you got inspired. If you're studying medicine, there's a lot more that you can do at a young age, and I think that was awesome.
I enjoyed relationship goals. We were talking about when's the right time to move out of home.
Yes, deep ones, bringing in all of the shade, and of course we had an awesome performance opening up the show. We've just had lots of fun.
You know what was my biggest highlight? What? You wearing heels.
I never wear heels.
Rory was wearing Well, thank you so much for joining us on today's show. We'll do it again next week. Konalago SABC 1 Mzansi for sure.
Fall.
Hey,
yes, we'll see you again next week, Saturday, Sunday. You know how it is.
We out of here, baby.
Toodles.